Hey, everybody, welcome to Living a Healthy Lifestyle Show with your favorite holistic health coach, Carrie Kay. You're in the studios of Living a Healthy Lifestyle today, and we have a special guest. Her name is Crystal Huntley. She's a two-time published author, blogger, open advocate against abuse, featured guest on many podcasts. She writes passionately about the issues closest to her heart, and the stories Crystal molds stems her own experiences. They reflect how she gained victory over multiple forms of childhood abuse and added more than 2 decades of domestic abuse that she endured. So welcome to the show, Crystal. We appreciate you today. Thank
Thank
you.
you. I feel very honored to be here.
Awesome. So tell us just a little bit about you, and then we'll go into some of the questions. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, of course, I'm a writer and I spend my brain just is constantly writing anymore. I wake up every morning at 4:30 and start my day for the first 3 hours writing. When I'm not writing, I I live way up in the northern wilderness, and we just love the wildlife and the nature around us and do as much as we can to enjoy that. And of course, I get lots of fun with Wet Finny, my little Westie, and the love of my life. And I do cooking. I like cooking everything as much as possible from scratch. And
So what
I
started you to write this beautiful book that I've been looking at, The Hidden Diamond? I'm excited to get a copy.
I grew up very abused. And when somebody is completely abused and that's all you know, which for me was the case, I was isolated in like a cult environment. You don't realize what you're experiencing is normal. And little by little, as my eyes started opening up to the truth, one of the tools that I used to process it was journaling. And in time, that journaling evolved into the writing of books.
Wow. So you wrote The Hidden Diamond because of your experiences with childhood abuse, and then it actually kind of went into your adulthood too, right? Some of the story.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
explain.
Go on, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, explain that.
Well, after I left my childhood environment, I did what most people tend to do if they haven't healed from their past. And I married somebody who was just like the father who raised me. So and that meant 27 years with an abusive spouse. And with him I had 4 children, and now we have 11 grandchildren. But after the 27 years, I escaped by going to shelter for abused women, and I stayed there for about 6 months. And then I ended up having to move far away for my safety. So I'm way up here in the northern country.
Started your whole life over. That's awesome. So what drove you to bring the perpetrator to forgiveness?
Um, this the okay, that perpetrator, her forgiveness was the perpetrator in this book. And in my journey of healing, I have discovered that without forgiveness, you can only go so far. You can do some healing and then you're in a stuck mode until you can do forgiveness. And for some reason, I've never really seen the perpetrators, even the ones who did the most horrendous things to me, as evil people. I've always had this question as to why are they doing this? What caused them? And I've always been aware that they're children of God, just like I'm a child of God, and they have a diamond, hence the title, The Hidden Diamond, within them that that for some reason is buried and can't shine because of whatever they went through, but it's still there. That goodness is still there. And so I've always looked at it in that manner. And one of the and I'm sorry. I guess
That's
that's
okay.
the answer.
No, that's okay. So what impact in life led you to write the story?
Even though I write in fiction, most of reality, like it does exist within my book. Or a lot of reality exists in my book. And Aldous is a man who's modeled after a man who lived across the street from when I was a child. And I was instructed with my sister to go and visit him every day after school. And then he started molesting me, and then it turned into raping me. And that kind of situation is not rare. It happens very, very frequently. And most people don't know it. Most people don't talk about it. It's like the hidden secret within people's families. And if those kind of hidden events, just like mold growing in a dark, dank corner, will just evolve and grow and grow and grow if not exposed to the light. And so that is my purpose with my writing, in it to expose those truths, those realities, and bring it to the light in a way that people who are caught in that trap can find footing on their path of healing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I understand that. I've been through those circumstances myself when I was a little girl, a lot of abuse and things that happened. So, and you're saying that healing starts with forgiveness. I totally agree with you about that. We have to forgive the situation for us. So, and you wrote about forgiveness in your book, so kind of redemption of everything.
Yes, yes, it is. This is the story of how Aldous is the little boy Dakota across the street, sort of gets under Aldus's skin, and as a result ends up pointing Aldous, without doing it on purpose, but ends up pointing Aldous in the direction where he's starting to really truly look at himself and what he did, and seeking for forgiveness from it and having that transformation. When I write, even though I write about abuse issues, I don't write about the gruesome aspects of the abuse. I write about the tools, things that help, stories that can help give you tools to pull out of it, stories that can lead you to forgiveness.
So, what are some of the tools that you write about in your book that can actually help lead people to forgiveness?
Well, like I said, because it's all in story form, it's not like this, it's not like a how-to book. It's all in story form.
Oh,
Just
okay.
yeah, so the examples that my characters are doing as an example, kind of seeing this is how what this person did, this is what that person did through my characters.
Oh, okay. So you have different characters with different stories in your book
Yeah,
that, oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're all woven together. The multiple characters, the stories of each character is all woven in as one story, you know.
Is there one particular story that you'd like to share with us?
Um, the Aldous has a daughter, and in the story, I tell the fact that he was molested as a child and molested his ended up molesting his daughter. And basically I weave the story as you know what he and his wife did to me through Aldous and Miriam. But again, I don't put the gruesome stuff in it. But um just the fact that he starts looking at what he it starts telling his story and what led him to that. One of the factors I have in here is the statement hurt people hurts people.
Mhm.
And that's mentioned multiple times in here because it's true. When somebody is hurt and wounded, if they don't face healing, that they pass it on and they hurt other people. And I'm hoping that by when people are wounded by others, instead of getting angry and resentful, which there is proper place for anger, it's part of the healing, but you don't want to get stuck in it. That you can move, you know, feel the anger and then let it move through you and move on, so you can get into the space of understanding what that person did and why, and that brings you to the healing, and which move you to a space where you can then heal more at a higher level of healing and a level of peace. You know, I didn't find my peace after I left, went to the shelter. My ex did a beautiful job, and I'm saying this quotes, guess you could say, healing or weaving lies among and through all my children and everybody in that town, turning everyone against me. And my life was my children. I was a stay-home mom. Everything I did was dedicated to them. My identity were my children. And the ex was wise enough to know that and did everything he could to stop my existence on this earth. And he was wise enough to realize he can't do it in a way that is obvious that the law would, you know, put him in prison for. So he knew to hit me through the children, which of course put me in huge depression and suicidal for a long time. But but what started pulling me out of that depression was starting to see and understand why they did this, and that it's not as personal to you, because you're starting to see that the abuser as a person and you happen to be their victim, but it's not personal on you. It's this person would do this regardless to someone else. And when you can get to that point of understanding, that's when you can start making that step. And I'm hoping to show that with my writing.
Wow, that is amazing. So you've been through a lot.
And I do it in a way that's lighthearted, not heavy. Even though I'm talking about heavy topics, I do it in a light, entertaining manner. Dakota, the little boy, in a sense, you could say he's the comic relief in the story. So I don't want you thinking because it's on a heavy topic, it's going to be a heavy book, because they're not. They're lighthearted, entertaining books that cover the topic. You know,
Oh, I gotcha. And I do see you have some other books that you're writing too, or that you've written too. How many books have you written?
right now I've completed two. This is Robin's Gift. And I'm working right now on a sequel to The Hidden Diamond. Aldous' daughter, Lacey, is introduced in the end of The Hidden Diamond. And No Regrets is the book I'm working on now, and it's going to be the story of Lacey and what she goes through. But the second book that I completed is Robin's Gift.
Oh, wow. Give us a little sneak peek about that one.
Okay, okay, it's now Natalie is one of the main characters in there, and she's lost and alone, and her biggest dream is to be and desire is to be loved, and a tragic accident calls her home. um and the story, she is her facing her fears so she can receive the gift that she ended up receiving by being called home. And basically it calls her, she's lost to herself, to her own identity, from running from abuse. You run from your identity when you're abused, because you cannot be your true self when you're a victim. And the gift that Natalie received was able to strip away that false facade and let her true self shine.
Oh, wow. So taking care of yourself is really is a huge part of your healing. I've noticed in my experience with abuse and things that
Mhm.
I've gone through. So you say people run from their identity and they don't face what's going on as a victim, but
Mhm.
we are victors in Christ. And so it sounds like all your stories are kind of leading up to all that. And forgiveness is huge. So
Mhm.
that's great that you walked down that and that you wrote the books. So what favorite fictional aspect did you weave into your story?
Um, like I said, I came from an abused family, so I never had parents who loved and cherished me and properly took care of me. And I loved writing Dakota's parents being ones that loved him and cherished him and took care of him and protected him. And when they found out that Aldous was a pedophile, they made proper steps to make sure that Dakota was safe. And that just, it felt so sort of like feeding the little girl in me what I wanted to have. And that's one thing that I absolutely love about fiction, is you can take the bad endings that just harmed you so much and weave stories and turn them into the good that you really wished happened, you know?
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't heard a whole lot about fiction books in that way, but I guess you could definitely turn it into whatever you want it to be. So it would be joyful and more
Mhm.
the person would be able to walk through it and be protected because
Yes.
the usually the abuse is under the carpet. It was with
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
Nobody back in my childhood days, nobody even knew what was going on. And even if they were told what was going on, some people didn't believe. I had a
Yeah.
situation like that too, where, nobody believed me. So
Yeah.
that's,
Exactly.
yeah, so that's huge to have that protection.
Mhm. And in my case, my parents did everything they could to hide the abuse, to protect the father who raised me. And I say it that way because he's really not my true father. And that's a whole nother story, which will be a whole nother book. But he was also he was a psychotherapist. And when I was preschool, kindergarten age, his job was to be in charge in the entire large area, being in charge of child welfare. And as a result, he could, things were happening to my sister and me, both, from our mother, from other people. And instead of giving us the care that's needed and giving my mother the care that's needed so she could be a good mother, everything hidden under the rug, everything. And if anybody's got the slightest glimmer of what happened, all we moved. And that was the pattern continuously. They do their God was their reputation, regardless of the cost. They hide it and they hide it,
I think a
and
lot
that's
of people have stories like that where they hide it and then later on it comes out and because the truth always comes out
mhm.
and
Yeah, it
obviously
does.
healing cannot happen until the truth does come out.
Mhm. It they're fooling themselves to think that they can keep these secret forever, because somewhere along the line, the truth will come out, and the sooner you allow it to come out, the sooner everybody, perpetrator and victim, can start healing and moving on. But the longer you keep it buried, the more deep the wounds become on everybody.
And I love the fact that you called it the hidden diamond, because we are diamonds.
That's
And
exactly
I love
that's
that.
ex that's exactly the title, that God created every one of us, so his spark is inside of every one of us. And Guck within life buries that spark, and healing unburies the spark so it can shine. And I have a section in the book where Dakota, he's looking at his mother's engagement ring, and commenting how he likes it shining, and it leads to a conversation where his mother explains this to Dakota so he's explaining it to a 5-year-old boy, so it's easily explained there.
Yeah. So that's a really great the way that you explained that was really great. Anything else that you'd like to talk about the next few minutes of the show?
Oh, I my biggest thing is I have a mission in my writing, and that's to help anybody I can to break those chains of abuse and move into healing, and in so doing move closer to their God. I feel blessed beyond measure that I have been able to move out of the abuse. And I know lots and lots of people who are totally, completely crippled, unable to function because of the situations they were in. And I've been in and out of therapy most of my life and my healing. And a lot of them said the extent of the abuse that I've had, that it's basically a miracle that I'm able to function and I did not crack. And I feel, as in gratitude of God pulling me out, I need to do everything possible to help pull others out. And that's my purpose. That's why I write. That's why I weekly blog on this. And that's what I'm dedicated to.
Wow, so send out some of your information, because I know people are very interested in purchasing your books. And so you can just send out all your information out here so we can get some people. So I know I had a couple of people that were very interested in getting your book. So
Do
shout
I
that.
just do it on do I do
Yeah.
it on a comment side?
Well, no, go
Okay.
ahead and shout out your information.
My website is www.crystalmmhuntley.com. It's spelled CRY. It's on the, my,
Yes, and I'll add it to the thing too,
yeah,
Crystal. Yep.
yeah. And in that website, you can get to all my books, and my blog. And the books are also available on Amazon or practically any online bookstore. My blog, I'm in the midst of changing the provider or the person who manages it. So it's going to get a lot better and a lot easier. And I'm also working on, so this is, I don't know when this is going to happen, but I'm working um an indie, I my book is in an indie bookstore, and I'm working on getting the thing set up. I'm not very tech, so it's taking me a while to learn all these things. But as soon as I can get it tech going so that people can buy it through me, and then out at a discounted price, and then I can also autograph them. So I need a little more assistance to get that one going, but you can, like I said, you can get it through my website or just look up both books on Amazon.
And
And
the blog you're doing on your website, correct?
mhm,
Awesome.
send out a blog post every Wednesday morning.
And is anybody able to get on your Facebook and get any information? I know you started a new Instagram account, so that's good.
Yes. every Wednesday when I post a blog, I have a Facebook group and page, and it's connected to a profile and the Instagram, and I post on all of the links every Wednesday. So if you're on the page or the group or the Instagram, you'll have the link to get straight to the blog. And at the blog, from the blog, you also can get straight to the links that go to the books, and they have like the first 3 pages you can read on on the on my webpage for each book.
Great. Well, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate the interview today. I know that this is not, a great thing to talk about sometimes. It's not easy. We've all gone through several different levels of abuse in our life, but God has brought us through. And like I said, we are shining like diamonds. So I just love that. And I'm very excited to read your books, and
Thank
just
you.
want to tell you how exciting it is to be able to have you on the show today and talk about something that, with you being a fiction writer, you can change that story. You can forgive people. You can go through so much. And it sounds to me like your books have helped you walk down that journey of, being able to change things, and being able to show being able to show the readers, that maybe have been abused, that there is hope, that there is hope
Yes.
for people. So great. Anything else that you'd like to share in the last few minutes that we have?
I do know talking about these issues can be really traumatic, especially to people who have experienced them. And like I said, that's why I write at the style that I do, because I don't want to traumatize people. I want to bring them to a space of joy, a space of victory.
Wow. Victory in Jesus, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so coming up in the future, you said you have a sequel to your book, The Hidden Diamond. So we'll be looking forward to hearing about that. And if you want to come on and talk about Robin's gifts sometime, you can definitely do that. And we will get
Thank you.
everybody to get on and watch this show. And I just want to
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for being on the show today and sharing these things with us, because I think it's going to help a whole lot of people. So I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome.